Welcome to the Global Urban Tree Canopy Data Validation Project. So I'm Michael Hunzo. I'm a professor in the Environmental Science Department, and this is partly what I focus on, of how urban trees are distributed in cities, how they survive or don't survive, and what sort of ecosystem services like cooling the urban heat island they offer. So doing this work is contingent on having high quality data, which up until perhaps recently has not been available in a lot of cities around the world due to the expensiveness of making the data. So what we're looking at right here is a brand new data set from Meta, like Facebook Meta, where the yellow is tree canopy. So they have made a map at 1 meter pixel size of all the tree canopy in the world. So our goal is to say, is this data good in cities? Because they have not validated it in cities. So let's have a look. So I'm going to zoom in. You can see there's a lot of trees around our area. So I'm zooming into Baltimore here, and now you can see the data starts to take shape a little more. And so this is the kind of areas that we are concerned about. We want to know where the yellow is, where Meta is saying there are trees. Do we also think there are trees? And we are going to do that basically by visually comparing just imagery, which we will assume that our eyes are able to properly identify trees and say either yes or no, this data matches up. So we zoom in here, we can see, first of all, in general, it does a pretty decent job. But then, of course, there's a lot of places where you can see there are trees where Meta is not saying there are trees. And there's probably places where Meta is saying there are trees where there are not trees. So this is the data set we're trying to validate, basically for 15 cities, or maybe 20. Globally, we will come up with a result that says the tree canopy layer is, let's say, 85% accurate or 93% accurate. That's going to be the per city result that we need your help getting to. So what will be your role? Well, you won't even actually be dealing with this Meta data set. Instead, your job is going to be for a given city, and we're going to look at Baltimore here first. You will have a set, you and other data collectors, not just you, will be given a set of 500 points per city, where you will visit each point sequentially and just catalog what you're seeing on the ground as one of 4 or 5 classes. So here's the first point. So this is point number 1. The important thing is saying, is this tree canopy or is this not tree canopy? So pretty obvious, you'd say this is not tree canopy. And then we would go a little further, because we might as well while we're in here, and also say that it's impervious ground. So I have moved over to the data entry spreadsheet where we're looking at Baltimore. We're going to have collector 1 and collector 2. These are 2 people who will look at the same points to make sure that they agree on what they're seeing. And the options are can't be assessed, impervious ground, pervious ground, building, tree canopy, and water. So I see that collector 1, who's in this case was Heather Corton, and collector 2, Alexis Ellis, have made it up to point 15. So I'm going to go see what's going on at point 16, because that would be my starting place. So this part's a little weird. There's no numbers, but I can see that's 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, so let's visit unique ID 16, and that looks pretty much like water, right? So that's easy. So I'm going to add in number 4. And at the end, I would also just add in my initials as this collector now. And then I would simply move on to point 17. And this one's a little more interesting. Looks like pervious ground. So not tree, but also not impervious. So that's going to be a 1. And we'll do one more. This looks like it's going to be tree canopy at 18. So I would enter in the number 3. Now, after you're entering in, these are actually going to turn black, like these ones, so that the two collectors aren't easily influencing each other. And so we get kind of independent assessments of what we're seeing. So you can do as many or as few as you want. It doesn't matter if you're collector 1 or collector 2. You'll just be putting in your initials, and this can fit in on your time schedule. But if you turn out to be a super collector, you'll have access to some gift cards, some $50 or $100 gift cards as well, to kind of thank you for your heavy involvement in the program. So if this is of interest, please do get in touch with Heather and Alexis, whose email you can find elsewhere. Thanks.